Hello Aquarius, and welcome to your month of November. So, I meditated on your energy, and the first layer of cards that came out for you. First of all, the top part is what Spirit wants to talk about. So, the two first cards that came out, I have the Empress and the Magician. Super strong start right away. Empress, creation, the feminine, unconditional love for oneself and others. With the Magician, the alchemist in this deck, it's having one's tools and knowledge and allowing to manifest our life. Second card that came out, the Fool. So something happens. Either it happened in October or in the beginning of November, but it's that kind of understanding one's power to create one's life. And that brings new cycle, the Fool. Then another major arcana, the Lovers with the Three of Wands. A decision inspired by the heavens. So that's when we are balanced within ourselves, our masculine and our feminine, the joining of the two opposites. That's why it's a reference to Gemini in this case, but with the influence or the inspiration of the divine instead of our lower parts like in the Devil cards. So there you go, a decision that actually brings you to the Three of Wands, where you can start receiving your due, the expectations of what is coming towards you. How this is going to show up in your life, there I have the Queen of Cups. So that's you, you're feminine. Having it's a water sign, I understand, but it's your feminine side that understands emotions, that understands the waters. Here it's under the Empress. So this has to do with emotional intelligence. This has to do with understanding our own waters. After that, I have the King of Swords. Now that's, Aquarius. And so there you are, strong in your mind. That's under the Fool here. Actually being able to strategize and see with discernment what is happening and where you want to go, based on your emotional intuition, emotional intelligence. And then we have the Hangman and Temperance. Do you see how many major arcanas there are here? Temperance and the Hangman. Now we know that temperance, it's the experience of life. It's the tempering of our soul through life's experiences. And that bring understanding of the bigger picture. That's why it's Sagittarius. It brings a healing, because once we understand our experiences and the why of those experiences and the lessons they bring, that's how we heal. And so here, under that balancing in the Gemini, the decision, we also have the Hangman. So it's almost like you understood through emotional intelligence the experiences of your life by looking at them from a different perspective and getting that insight, that light on what was hidden, brings you temperance, brings you healing because of that understanding, seeing the brewing that was happening. Here under our Queen of Cups, we have the Queen of Swords. There you are again. And we know that the Queen of Swords, she is the wise queen. So you have the emotional, intelligent queen and the wise queen that is a bit more cerebral there, Aquarius. So you have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. The balancing of a mind that understands and see reality through the eyes of wisdom, because that's what the Queen of Swords took, the past pains of the swords, and transformed them into wisdom. That's why she's represented with butterflies. And this balance of the two here, that we see the balance of the two of your fellow air sign Gemini, we have the Wheel of Fortune. It's like if you had this understanding that kind of move the events of your life, or will, it depends where you are. And then we have the Princess of Swords. So the princess, the queen, and the king. There you have, you just need the knight. So there's that new understanding that you get from that new perspective, going about in a new way with your mind, balancing through understanding and a healing of past events in your life. Under the deck I had the Eight of Swords, so that tells me that maybe you come from a stage in your life where you felt stuck, analysis paralysis, where nothing was happening, or you were counter. That's when our mind is almost stronger than our intuition or our heart or all of that, and it comes and blocks us with beliefs and with mental arguments that in a way is counterintuitive. So with the Queen of Cups here, I think that you touched into your feminine and your intuition, and that gave you back your power to manifest by healing and understanding what went wrong in the past, the why, and seeing the bigger picture of it, and it's launching you on a brand new cycle. So let's clarify this. Aquarius, I call upon the divine, I call upon the light, I call upon my guides, I call upon the energy of Aquarius for the month of November. Let me clarify this reading so that Aquarius have an understanding that will help them on their path. Aquarius. Okay. Why is the Empress here? Spirit. Why is the Empress, Imperatrice? Why is the Imperatrice here? Okay. So here we have working and justice, another major arcana. So I think it was a karmic cycle that you finished there. Because the Empress, see, this is like almost going from putting efforts and working and maybe not seeing the results that you wanted until you understood through your intuition the allowing, and now mastering your craft and being able to build and seeing results. There's a rebalancing that happened here, a karma that finished. Why is the Alchemist there? 10 of Pentacle. So 10 of Pentacle, we know it's both the summum of the earth matters, our senses, the elements. It's also end of a cycle to begin a new one, but also represents what is super long term and solid. That's why it represents family, generation from generation. With the Magician, we're talking about, since there's a lot of pentacle here, so we're talking about physical efforts, energy that is being put into something that maybe before did not give the results that you wanted, but now you have mastered the pentacle in a way, putting it in your because he has the 4 elements. In order to manifest, we need the 4 elements to be balanced. Here there's a rebalancing of the pentacle, and it is something that either had something to do with what was transmitted to you, or that you will be able to manifest something solid and long term. Maybe before things were not solid and long term, flashes in the night and things like that. Pentacles is very grounded and solid there. So it's almost like if your creative part, the Empress, now is readjusting where she's putting her energy and where she's allowing to see results, and that will give you the opportunity to manifest something solid and long term. Why is the Fool here? The Sun. So that's good. See, and I have the Three of Pentacles. A lot of you, this is going to have to be around work, or it can even be around your own body also, because this is the 3D reality, our body. This is very Pentacle. Like somebody that would have had health issues because they didn't have, they had this part of themselves where they didn't allow themselves to be healthy, or didn't think they deserved it, or for whatever. But by readjusting the divine feminine, there they can balance the efforts they put, start seeing results and manifesting something long-term and solid, projecting them into a new cycle where the sun is shining. This is a cycle where the sun is shining. If we're talking about work, it would be a bit of the same principle, where now there's a readjustment happening. It could be a real law happening for you, a decision, but a rebalancing that is happening where you can start thriving and receiving your due and being able to manifest and create something solid. Work, family, relationship, wherever it actually affects you in your life. Here we have the Lovers and the Three of Wands. Why is the Lovers here, Spirit? For Aquarius, why is the Lovers here? Why is the Lovers here? For Aquarius. Death, transformation. And here I have that Ace of Pentacle. So the decision you're making by balancing your masculine and your feminine, because we have to remember that we have the King and Queen of Swords here. By rebalancing your masculine and your feminine, you're allowing a transformation with faith, with clarity, and making that inner choice, which is going to bring you something. Another major arcana. There's a huge shift happening for you. Having death here also, we're having that full moon in Scorpio, at the end of October that will, of course, influence during the month of at least the first 2 weeks of the month of November. So this is something that probably you get to see clearly during that moon. And it opens you up to receiving. It opens you up to seeing results of your efforts, giving you back your power. Why is the Queen of Cups here? Why is the the Queen of Cups here for Aquarius? See? Understanding, because here I have the wounded warrior, 9 of Wands. So this is gaining the wisdom a bit, because he's been wounded. So that means he went to war. He won some, he lost others. Now he's got a bandana and he's guarded on what is coming towards him. Since we're clarifying the Queen of Cups, we're talking about emotionally having been hurt and being on the defensive of what is coming towards us. 9 of Wands, wounded warrior, emotionally wounded. But it by gaining that wisdom and that understanding, because we do have Temperance here, that is going to come, is going to help you heal that and gain back your power there. Heal the emotional wounded part inside of you. That may be, that could be looking at the events that come and fearing the other shoe to drop, or not really trusting what is coming towards us, having the way we perceive emotionally from a wounded place. But there, with Justice and the Empress, that is a rebalancing of that, because that was in your feminine emotional feminine. King of Swords here. There you are. King of Swords. Why is the King of Swords here for Aquarius? Ooh. Well, there you go. So you see what I was talking about with the Gemini, with the lovers here. There I have the Devil and King of Cups. The Queen of Cups that has wounded. And I was saying how it can influence your perception of what is coming towards you. But here, the King of Swords, so that's you. There is your emotional masculine, emotional feminine, emotional masculine. Having that wounded warrior here was limiting your capacity to manifest in life. Him, when we're under his influence, we have a very hard time manifesting abundance and love and happiness, because instead of being inspired by the highest part of us here, the feminine, looking at the angel, we are just inspired by illusions or beliefs. The feminine is not looking at an angel, she's looking at in front of her. So she's only inspired by that reality here. And that's why there's not many fruits, and there's only the fight or flight consciousness lit under the masculine. So here under the Fool and the Sun, okay, that new cycle that wants to start, there's this mastery that has to happen here. And that is probably what you will see during the month, is that dynamic. This is almost victim. And so the actions taken by the masculine emotional side were limited because of the Queen, by bringing back justice, seeing clearly. The sun is always like, I see clearly on this now, the light is shone on this, you see it clearly, you're able to, because from the emotions comes consciousness, there you go, you're mastering this. Because I think you gained a new perspective on the dynamic that was happening inside of you emotionally. Why is Temperance here? Show me Temperance. Show me Temperance. I went far. King of Wands, Five of Wands. All of that created conflict inside of you. So Temperance, see, in the way you were acting, in your willpower, maybe having a hard time, things weren't flowing. You desired something, and then after it was just not seeing results, or whatever, having conflict around you or inside of you because of this. Having the King of Wands there under with the Temperance, this is almost like understanding where the inner conflict came, because the kings master their suit. So he masters the Five of Wands and he masters the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands, which was the way you perceived emotionally things, was creating conflict inside of you. But now you're seeing it clearly. You're understanding it. You're mastering it through Temperance, through understanding the bigger version, the bigger picture of that it was a lesson, that it was part of life, it was part of the testing and the tempering of life to purify yourself, and now you understand it. So the Hangman, what is that new perspective? Chariot. So what was happening to you unconsciously, now, and the difference between your conscious, what you wanted, and what was happening in your unconscious, now you see it from another perspective, gaining that illumination. What was happening in your unconscious? Well, this was happening in your unconscious. We have to remember that Cups talk a lot about the all the waters of the womb, all the waters of the unconscious. It is the feminine element that is happening, before something emerges. So this was happening in your unconscious. But now you see it clearly by looking at it in a different manner, and on top of it, healing from it, because you're grabbing your willpower on that and understanding where the conflict came from. And when we have conflict, nothing moves. These wands are cutting one another. And that's why there's no movement. It's just argument. In a healthy manner, it would be like brainstorming to come out with a great idea. But when it stays at the 5, then it's just arguments that don't lead anywhere. So when it's happening inside of us, it's that difference between what we want and what we believe and how we perceive emotionally, because of that limit. But there's a huge shift here. It's like you're seeing exactly how you're functioning. And yes, this opens up to start receiving, really. Queen of Swords. Why is the Queen of Swords here? Knight of Wands. So it's funny because we're going from water to, well, from Pentacle to water to swords, you, and all of that influenced by fire, wands. So you have like the 4 elements on top of it, of how you're acting and all of that. This is the movement of taking our passion and moving forward after transforming your past pains. Here, what has happened here, in the way seeing truly what was going on, because we have to see it like a story going like this. It's like, oh, now I see the wand that I want, and this is where I want to put my fire. This is my true fire. And so there you go, letting things come in with your discernment, with your wisdom, but with the movement of your fire, which is very good. Instead of blocking with your fire, now you're moving with it, with your clear head. Wheel of Fortune. Of course that will turn the events of your life. That understanding. It wants to the Moon. Yes, I think you're going to have that Moon in Scorpio is going to show you a lot. And maybe you started seeing it before, but things are going to come very clear on how you were limiting yourself, your own inner conflicts. And this is going to be rebalanced and healed in you so you can move forward with success. Grab your passion, but with discernment and wisdom. Princess of Swords. There you go. So, that new understanding that the Princess of Swords has, see the end of a cycle of your kind of 3D reality here, your interaction with the family, what you leave to your children, and what we leave to our children is also our patterns and all of that, not just the financial coin there, but where you put your energy and how you're able to manifest in your life. Also the way that you carry in life your willpower, your the responsibilities and the things like that. End of that cycle also. Here we have the World, which is normal after that understanding about everything that was happening under the moon in our unconscious, that we make the choice to transform and let go. We open up to start receiving and letting go of the old way of doing things. That's why the King of Wands is there with the 5 of Wands, 10 of Wands. That kind of notion and mastery makes you finish a cycle of the way you carried yourself, what you brought on your shoulders, and being able to put a term on that. Finishing something, finishing a cycle. And so, of course, here, see, you have the 2 pillars. That quest of going inside and seeing exactly in your waters what was holding you back and gaining the mastery in it. That's the path that you took here. That illumination behind the moon is the illumination around the head of the Hangman, crossing those 2 pillars, which is kind of letting oneself transformed, is the 2 pillars that are here. So once all of the waters of the unconscious come up, we see them, and we guide ourselves through there, kind of that kind of quest of actually seeing what is hidden in our darkness, in our moon, and then making the choice, because here in the moon there's a choice also. You listen to the dog or you listen to the wolf. You listen to the tamed part of yourself or the reactionary animalistic part of you. And so by crossing this, you arrive here where you can transform and purify, letting go of whatever was holding you back, transforming it into wisdom so that you can follow one wand, one passion. And by doing that, it of course will change the conditions of your life. You'll be able to finish a cycle and start brand new with that clarity and that understanding here, and balancing your feminine and your masculine, making that inner decision to be inspired from higher from you instead of him there. So 7, this is a spiritual quest, that's for sure. It's like spiritual leap, and there we have like the leap of faith, but you're doing a spiritual leap in your own power, in your own manifestation, in your own of how you want to bring things into your life. And that's why you're on a new cycle, but with the sun in it. That means that things in the unconscious you are clear about and you see, and you will be, it all depends of where you are, you will be able to heal it because you will actually see it and get that enlightenment of why it is like that and what it was creating in your life. So this is beautiful, Aquarius. It's a spiritual leap, I'm going to call it like that. But yes, the beginning of November, and some of you, maybe it happened at the end of last month, time being fluid, a big consciousness leveling up and really grabbing the reins of your life after allowing this transformation, this letting go of this, closing up a cycle and going straightforward chariot successfully. This is beautiful. So on this, oh yes, I'm gonna send you all my love and light for the month of November. I'm gonna announce the winner of the free reading of last month, 1 year anniversary, is Chinaraé, Pratt, Horton. I'm gonna write the name below with the informations for private readings and everything. So Chinaraé, you can write to me if you see this video and recognize yourself for your free reading. Also, thank you for your shares and comments and all of that, the likes. I really appreciate it. And for your donations also, it helps very much. And to thank you, I'm gonna do like I did the other months, a special ceremony to give you back. And I decided to do it on the new moon and the full moon instead of the 15th and the 30th of each month. Thank you to give you back for your donations. And apart from that, private reading and all of that information below. I'm gonna send you all my love and light, and I see you next month. All right?